Hey guys, Loco here with another Loco Recap. So I decided. I think I'll do about 5 Loco Recaps per week. I don't think I can do 10 on LCS, and I also probably want to do Loco Recaps on some very important LEC games, LCK games, LPL games. Actually, LPL not playing any games right now because of coronavirus, so rip LPL, but I'll do it on other regions too, and 5 per week on LCS games. That's a good goal. Right. Anyways, the match I have for you today is TSM versus Immortals. I'm not biased at all. This was an accidental coincidence. But yeah, TSM versus Immortals. Let's get right to the draft. So for the draft, TSM actually has some interesting bans. Mordekaiser, I'm gonna guess that's a Soaz champion. Cassiopeia, that's definitely an Altec champion. He's played a lot of Cassio in solo queue. He also showed it in the match earlier, I think on Saturday. So those are just sniper bans towards the Immortals player. As for Immortals, they're just banning out the OPs from red side. Akali, Kiana, Lucian, very standard. Now, let's talk about the actual picks themselves. For TSM, there's a lot of problems going on. So they first pick Rumble, and right now, Rumble's actually used as a mid lane more so than a top lane. I know he's a traditional top laner, but he is so strong in mid lane right now. He doesn't really have any kind of bad matchups, and with Comet, he's able to bully out a lot of his matchups. Like the Scrap Shield is so OP, but where he really shows his value is his ability to push and roam around the map very easily. Whenever he has about 50 heat or above, his spells get empowered and you're able to clear the entire wave with one rotation of your spells if you use your Q and E and auto attacks really wisely, and it makes him such a horrible champion to play against versus the enemy team. You can't really interact with him in lane. He has his shield and he's a good laner, and he can also push you in and roam and just rain down his ult from above onto the side lane. So yeah, really OP champion. That's why he's seeing a lot of bans, and that's why he's so strong in mid lane. But there is a little bit of caveat. When you first pick Rumble, it's very important you set him up with CC and other kind of engages so he's effective in team fights beyond the laning phase and the roaming phase. Like Nautilus, Leona, Jarvan. These are probably the main 3 that go really well with Rumble. TSM instead opted into Senna Tahm Kench, which is a very powerful combo. Senna is one of the best AD carries right now. Tahm Kench really helps with their escape abilities and gives them both really good laning. And Dardoch went with his favorite champion of all time, Lee Sin, instead of Jarvan. So this pick doesn't have any kind of setup. And also, it's not Bjergsen playing Rumble, it's actually Brokenblade, and Bjergsen blinded LeBlanc instead. So TSM's draft started out really strong with the Rumble first pick, but it just kind of went nowhere, and it's a really icky draft. It doesn't really have true win conditions. I guess it has a strong mid-jungle 2v2, but beyond that, this isn't a very good teamfight comp. It's also not a very good 1-3-1 comp. Eventually, Aatrox is going to be able to beat the LeBlanc or the Rumble, so TSM can't really split push either. It's just not a great draft. As for Immortals, they went with something much more standard. Other than the Ezreal, they did get pinched on AD carry. They ended up banning Cassiopeia, which is an Altec pick, and Aphelios. So they didn't have a lot of choices. I think Misfortune would have been the other standard one here, but it looks like Altec going to his comfort and Ezreal instead. So by having Ezreal in the comp along with Zoe, it gives them a win condition in terms of poking, and they do outscale TSM, not by a lot, so that is something they can look forward to. Just make it through mid game, and later on in the game, they'll be stronger. Overall, okay comp from Immortals, very worrying comp from TSM. I wish they did a lot more with the Rumble pick, sent it mid, and gave it a lot more setup. But let's get to the games. Alright, the first play I have for you today is a TSM classic. They've been doing this since 2014. It's the second blue buff invade. One thing to note about this blue buff invade is it's actually a really bad tempo timing for the TSM jungler Dardoch. He has 2 longswords and not a completed jungle item, where Xminty already did get to recall and he has the completed jungle item plus boots. So even though TSM has bot priority and they're coming in, the jungle side is actually a lot weaker. So a lot of skill shots being exchanged, Xminty jumping back to the blue. Looks like TSM's being able to push out Immortals. Really good Ezreal ult there, being able to chunk out the Tahm Kench. Also did mark Bjergsen a little. Dardoch getting chunked, going back in. Yeah, this blue invade doesn't really work because TSM doesn't have a lot of CC to work with. Other than the LeBlanc, there's no one else that can really catch. So even though they initially pushed out Immortals in the start of the blue buff invade, Immortals just sat there, landed some pokes, and they were able to get control back and take the blue. So here we also have a very common play from last year. Bot lane swapping topside early on tempo and taking Herald with jungler in mid lane or even top lane starting the Herald early. And Clutch Gaming really heavily popularized this play in North America. It looks like TSM just doing the standard Herald off of good tempo play. They're going to be able to take it pretty freely and send it right up top for first turret. Yeah, it's a very common pattern we saw a lot last year and we're seeing a lot this year. With how easy the first Herald has gotten to take, it's gonna be pretty commonplace. So the interesting thing is TSM's actually giving up Dragon to do this. So normally you would take Dragon first on bot lane before you swap out top lane and do this play, but it's not that big of a deal, especially since individual dragons don't mean as much nowadays. It's when you get the 4 and when you get Dragon Soul where it really matters. And also if you're going to be able to get first turret off of this, it's overall pretty worth. The really good thing about this, and to bring up Clutch Gaming again, the enemy team can't respond with a counter push bot lane because first of all they're behind in tempo and they're going to be a lot slower because they don't have Herald. But also the other thing is because TSM's running Rumble top lane, if they were trying to counter push, Rumble would just ult the wave and they wouldn't be able to really push on them. So I think they're just going to stay here until they get turret. Senna's really good for situations like this because she's able to poke the other team and she's also able to sustain herself with the Q and get additional damage on turret. Looks like Altec went for a steal on blue but doesn't get it. Overall, it's been a slow game, but you see Xmithy coming from his bot side back up to his top side, and TSM is able to intercept him and get this pretty easy kill for the first blood. Wow, 12 minutes into the game for a kill to happen. Immortals tries to fight back, but Lee Sin, LeBlanc too slippery, so that just ends up wasting his TP, and now Brokenblade is going to be able to push bot for free, and looks like TSM finally got that top turret they were working for. We're getting this really weird situation from TSM, and this is where I think they don't really understand their comp. They sent Rumble to try to defend topside, while Dardoch's taking Dragon on bottom. What I really don't like about this is this isn't what makes Rumble really strong. This isn't what makes Rumble Giga OP. I mean, nice catch by Bjergsen there. Xmithy got greedy trying to get a pink ward. The whole thing about Rumble is you're really strong in team fights. Once you have your ult, once you have Leandri's, like once you have all these tools, like you really want to be team fighting. And even before that, you're a really strong team fighter and you want the 5v5. But instead, what TSM has been doing is kind of playing the tempo game, getting ahead in tempo in bot side and trying to get more turrets than Immortals. It has been working. They are up 2 turrets to 1, but it's just playing away from what they invested their first pick into, the Rumble, the good team fighter. I mean, he finally has Leandri's now, so I hope they do more of the team fighting. And we can go back and look at this play. It looks like he wanted to go back top to try to defend and get back into the turret, but he just got picked off by the Braum ult combined with Elise damage and the Ezreal ult. And yeah, Xmithy just got a little bit too greedy here, and Bjergsen spots the opportunity, goes instantly in for the kill and able to get it really cleanly and jump back out because he has Blanc. So here's where we're starting to see the first actual 5-on-5 team fight. Rumble's level 13, he has Leandri's and the double magic pen item and Thork boost and Oblivion orb, so he's extremely strong right now. And you're going to be able to see how strong this champion is in team fights. Just watch this ultimate. This is without any kind of setup. This is without any kind of other CC really on the team. He's ults Hakuo and Altec here, and look how much HP they lose. And imagine if they were CC'd on top of that. This is what makes it so disappointing that TSM wasn't actively looking for 5v5 team fights before. Rumble's just such a good champion at this, and yeah, this is the only 5v5 team fight they got in the 24 minutes this game was played. Looks like IMT shifted to mid lane after giving TSM Dragon and running up towards top side. Bjerg and Brokenblade on the flank, they're about to chase them down. The Air Drake actually doing a lot of work for IMT right here, able to help them run pretty freely. Brokenblade looping around trying to get that big flank. Go up, go up. Ooh, a little bit bad for TSM here. They're taking the fight before Brokenblade really has to flank, and there's a lot of gap between him and rest of the team. Bjergsen went for Flash WR. He wasn't able to kill anyone that cleanly. And Dardoch actually ended up giving a free kill to Soaz when he didn't need to. So overall, it only ended up being a 2-for-1 trade, and Immortals got the second tier turret on top of that. This TSM team just looks so messy. They don't really seem to be on the same page, and they're doing a lot of things separately. As for Immortals, they're playing pretty passively, not making any plays on their own, and just reacting to the plays that TSM is putting on top of them. I think this is the play that really breaks open the game. TSM has 4 people bot side, and even Bjerg is kind of leaning towards bot side, and Immortal recognizes this, and they know that they can't really kill Soaz, and even if they kill Soaz, they're going to be able to get Baron for free. A big problem Immortals was having is they're weaker in teamfight, so they should never be able to take free objectives like this, and this kind of Baron is such a key tool for TSM to get a big 5v5 started, and by giving it up to Immortals, it's I can't overstress how bad it is. Like TSM sending 4 members down bot side there and giving Immortals an opening for Baron when Immortals has the weaker teamfight is probably the biggest mistake that was made in terms of the game got blown wide open. TSM's not going to have tools to be able to close out for such a long time now. Now, like the next Baron is what, 6 minutes away? They just have to wait so long until they can actually have an objective to fight for. Immortals can give away Dragon if they want to, or they can poke for it. It just, yeah, giving this Baron like this was such a bad move. Because this game was one of the biggest fiestas of all time. I'm actually not going to go through every big play that happened. I just kind of want to show you what happened in that 30 minutes it took for Immortals to get that Baron and eventually win the game. You can see TSM wants to start fights and they want to get a good 5v5, but Immortals is really slippery. And they don't have any champions really flanking. They don't have any kind of CC. They don't really play side lanes either. So it's just such a mess of a situation. I mean, they're trying to get Baron right now by using Tom Kenschult and getting the Senna across there. But Senna's not really a great champ when it comes to doing objectives really quickly. And also, yeah, TSM's just going to be really slow in terms of doing this. And at this point, Immortals caught up a lot. The Zoe has Banshees. The Aatrox has Maw. Ezreal's really slippery. It just, Rumble isn't as effective as he was before, and without a CC to really set him up, he can't get these like god tier teamfight ults. Yeah, he went for a nice try on the ult there, but there's that small corner where all the Immortals members snuck into and they aren't taking Rumble damage, and TSM's just gonna have to back out. They used the Rumble ult, they don't have any other tools, and Immortals has such nice poke from Zoe and the Ezreal, and they don't really have champions to catch either. So yeah, the game gets stalemated like this for on and on and on. We're finally in the end game. I skipped past 25 minutes for you guys, so you guys didn't have to see the shit show that everyone else also had to witness. But yeah, Immortals has outscaled TSM at this point, and they're going to be able to take Elder Drake. They're going to be able to take Baron once it comes up and just end the game. TSM has all 3 inhibitors down, open Nexus. This was not a great game for anyone. There were no true winners. TSM failed to be proactive in a good, like really active, like really forcing, giving Immortals no option. Like when you're ahead and you have a good team comp, you're able to force teams into really awkward situations and make your will known. Like you take Baron on them, you start sieging, you snowball your lead. But TSM really didn't do any of that. And I talked about the Baron mistake, but that was why that mistake was so huge. TSM was stronger in teamfight. Immortals didn't have their defensive MR items yet. And that's where they could have really started to force Immortals in an awkward situation. Hey, come to Baron, take the 5v5 on us. If you lose, we get Baron. If you don't come at all, then we're going to get Baron anyways. And Immortals is left in a damned if I do, damned if I don't kind of situation. It's not that they would give up Baron for free. They definitely have pokes and other tools to play versus. It was not a great situation for them. And they were able to take the Baron off the map for free because TSM somehow wanted to send 4 people down bot side. It was just ununderstandably bad from TSM. I mean, Bjerg looking for a flank here, but not really going to work. Altic just jumping out from the flank, dodging the Ezreal ult, and yeah, Soaz looks like he's going by himself to end the game with his ult. Someone else TPing in, Altic TPing in, just ending the game. Just not a great game from anyone. Yikes. So I do want to commend the winners, but it's just so hard to say nice things towards Immortals when they really didn't do anything other than watch TSM shit the bed. And as for TSM, I really hope they get their things together and start working as a team and just start doing better draft, because yeah, any team with Dardoch on it, especially a team like TSM where there's such big expectations, is going to be under a lot of pressure to perform. And the longer the season goes without TSM really clicking and getting their shit together, the more volatile and toxic the environment can become. So please, TSM, do me a favor. Let's get our shit together. Let's not end the week on a 0-2. So I am recording this on a Sunday before the Monday game versus Team Liquid is played. So I'm extremely worried. Even with Team Liquid not having their main jungler, yeah, it's not a fun place to be as a TSM fan. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And also, please watch this series. I'm gonna put a lot of work into it. I'm gonna make sure it's timely, and yeah, like it has to pick up on the algorithm. Like, you guys have to watch it all the way through. You guys have to comment. It really truly does help a lot. One last thing, I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye.